Crop News brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to the show. We're at the Kansas Agribusiness Expo here in Wichita. So thanks for joining us. Dennis, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you, Brian.
Hey, not as bad a year as some thought, maybe not as good as what everybody hoped, but overall not bad for the drought.
Well, it sure turned out to be a lot better than when our commission met on August 28th. It was pretty much a day of doom, you know, and of course then the next day it turned off and it cooled off and we had some showers across the state. Not great rains, but showers. And it seems like that soybean, it's always been called the miracle bean, but it seems like it did do its miracle. It started regrowing, resetting pods. Even I've heard some farmers report how the soybean was nothing but a stem out there, and yet when that rain hit, it started new leaves and averaged about 15, 20 bushel the acre. So it's just been a remarkable year for that soybean.
Now, you guys are out at the expo today, and this is another great event that you guys participate in that's funded through the Checkoff program.
That's exactly right. The Kansas Grain and Feed Association, of course, they are our co-ops, they're our elevators that collect the checkoff for not only soybeans, but the other commodities as well. And so we're here to support them because it's very important not only that we let them know what we're doing with the checkoff, but also those farmers that might happen to have a part-time job with the co-op or the elevator or something, they can learn a little more about what the soybean checkoff does.
And also an opportunity to talk to soybean farmers and non-soybean farmers as well, I would imagine.
Exactly right, because there is a lot of question as to what the funds are used for, and of course when the farmer comes in, dumps his load of beans, and then he gets his check, well, he wants to know what that checkoff's for. And it's nice that we can educate the elevators as to what it's used for so that they can then answer that question instead of the farmer then having doubts the rest of the year about what his funds went for.
I know the soybean checkoff a lot of money goes into research, especially here in the state of Kansas and through Kansas State University. It's another opportunity that we get better varieties into the fields for farmers.
That's exactly right, and that's one reason that the Soybean Commission every year helps sponsor with the Soybean Association a yield contest. It's our way of contributing to that, getting that knowledge out, because the varieties are required in the soybean contest to enter that. And so when then we take that knowledge of who won or what the yields were, and Gary Kilgore, retired extension out of southeast Kansas, he still chairs that committee, puts together a very nice book on what varieties, what yields, what the oil and protein content was, because we also do that.
Well, that'll be done later in December.
Yes.
Winners will be announced at the conference coming up in January.
That's exactly right. At our annual expo held at the Topeka Farm Show on Wednesday of the Topeka Farm Show, that's when we announce the winners. And people really need to pay attention to these contests because the grand prize is $1,000. And there's several grand prizes.
Yeah,
so.
That's not a bad grand prize. Again, I think that comes back to the checkoff dollars being used to help farmers ground level get better varieties into the ground, more yield, more dollars.
That's exactly right. There's various ways you can do it. And you mentioned the research that goes on in the state of Kansas. And we're also involved in research with the North Central Soybean Research Project, which is about 11 Midwestern states that get together on common problems they have, common variety research. And so we do it in many facets. Even the United Soybean Board is involved in. I was just reading coming back on the plane this morning that how they are looking to increase the yield to 50 bushel nationwide by 2030. So it's going to take all levels of the soybean checkoff working together to make that happen.
And as we close out, if someone wants some information on the expo coming up, just go to your website.
That's exactly right, which is www.kansassoybeans.org.